Indigo Park has gained popularity over the last few days by being the new mascot horror game, one that I personally love as well. We play as a character who is exploring an abandoned theme park, guided by an AI version of the park's beloved mascot, Rambly. However, the other mascots we meet aren't as accommodating, as Molly hunts us down throughout the first chapter. But what shut down the park? Why are the mascots like this? What went wrong? And although Rambly isn't a bad guy, he's definitely hiding something from us. So it's up to us to figure out what's truly happened in Indigo Park. But before we get into that, please do subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. Subscribing is the best way to support my channel, and a lot of people don't realise that they aren't subscribed. So if you could just check to see that you are, I would appreciate that. Thank you, and back to the video. So far, only the first chapter is out, and after having played through it multiple times, I'm going to summarise what happens within it. Our protagonist enters the park by breaking and entering. At this point, it's been shut down for 8 years over unknown reasons. When we arrive at the park door, turn on all the power, we meet an AI guide, Rambly. He welcomes us to the park, although realising that it has gone into some disrepair. We walk into the building, only to realise that we've gotten trapped by falling debris. So we have no choice now but to follow our guide as they tell us to visit different areas for a fun time. Although during this, Molly's mascot watches us, but doesn't make a move, unlike Lloyd, who jumps at the first moment he gets. It's only near the end of the game where we get attacked, but Rambly saves us at the last minute. He then admits that the park has gone into disrepair and that he's upset that we can't have a fun time. But then we agree to help him fix it and he's happy, although he doesn't seem to let us go into the Royal Wrangler's room just yet. We make our way to the ride, being Ocean Odyssey, where we see a glimpse of the sea monster mascot, Finley, for the next chapter in the game. It's pretty straightforward, right? Well, there's still a few things we need to figure out, like, for one, what are the mascots? Like every mascot horror franchise, there has to be mascots, but we don't really know what they are. Like, are they animatronics? Well, no, they can't be, considering the fact they seem to be organic, and quite clearly of a lot of blood. So maybe they are people with animal mascot suits. Well, that can't be it either, because the way the mascots act is more animalistic. In that case, it has to be experiments made from orphaned kids, right? Although I'm not seeing any missing orphans. The theory here is that they are experiments, but they don't have the souls of children. Shocking, I know. Instead, they've somehow found a way to bring these characters to life. Many companies claim to be at the forefront of innovation, and Indigo Park is no exception. After AI was invented, it didn't take long for the parks to replace their human guides with their own AI mascot. So when the people in the mascot costumes weren't cutting it anymore, it was time to try something new. And so the park invested in animatronics, which mysteriously got dismantled. Seriously, it's either they weren't working or they were missing a few parts, which ended with them rotting in storage. Instead of giving up though, the owner wondered if there was a way to bring the magic back to their parks and to bring the mascots to life. And they did it. They managed to create organic mascots. But not everyone was happy. Indigo Park employees were scared they'd lose their jobs to these new artificial mascots. They thought they were in the clear when they sabotaged the animatronics, but it wasn't like they could kill these new mascots. So instead they had to train them, get the mascots ready for the public, and then after that they'd likely be fired. It made them treat the mascots poorly, as if they were animals. We even hear about how Molly gets locked up in a cage. In fact, we see it. If we go out of bounds in the video game, we can see Molly McCaw locked in a cage underneath the surface. Here's the thing, the mascots weren't evil, not at first, but with all the abuse, poor treatment and neglect from the staff, it was no wonder they started acting more and more like animals and less like their characters. It got to a point where the staff members knew they couldn't let them out yet. The characters were too dangerous to be around, no matter what safety measures they put in, and so they kept the characters away from the spotlight until they were properly trained. Notice how the characters don't have their signature outfits yet. This was to make sure that the clothes didn't rip, since they acted more like animals at the time, and would likely damage the outfits. But because they were enclosed for so long, they took any chance to strike, and this is what led to the incident. So what happened to Indigo Park? In the newspaper report, it states that it was a sudden closure after the park had to be evacuated. They don't give many reasons to why it was evacuated, but from what we can infer, it's because the mascots went on a rampage. So it could have been that the mascots were deemed unfit for the public during that day, or quite the opposite. The park was planning to show the world these new mascots, at a distance, kind of like how you would see at a zoo. Unfortunately, one of the kids found out about the secret mascots before they were supposed to and decided to get a bit too close. It's unclear how the child would have discovered them, but it opens a lot of doors for the mascots. Personally, I think the reasons an unattended child was able to get to the mascots was either because their parents worked there and had restricted access,
Don't touch that thing, son.
or because there were a lot less employees than usual because they were frankly scared of the new mascots and quit. When the mascots got out, the staff were the first to find out about the escape and called to evacuate the entire park. But the mascots had already gotten to a few people at that point. To save the park's image, they decided to cover it and never reopened, leaving a lot of questions that our protagonist is looking to find the answers for. So that brings us to the question, who are we? Or who are we playing as? The protagonist we play as is a content creator known as E. Ensign, or Ed. Looking around, you can see that the park holds a special place in his heart. You can see his mum loved the park as well, as it shows that Molly was her favourite. He asked his friend Laura if she wants to help him search, but she declines the offer. So, without any recording equipment, Ed goes to search the place. We know that he's looking for answers to the incident, meaning that he could have been there when it was evacuated and never understood why it became evacuated. Better yet, he could have seen something unexplained and decided that's why he wanted to go back to the park, to look for answers. He obviously has fond memories of this place, which is why he chooses to help Rambly in restoring it at the end, but something tells me that there's an unresolved issue that Ed wants to fix for himself while he's there, and his curiosity may get the better of him. Finally, I want to talk about the Rambly mask. It's something we pick up during the game that counts as a collectible, but when we give it to Rambly, he plays a conversation between two employees. Yes, the conversation was a reference to Day Shift at Freddy's, a Five Nights at Freddy's parody game. However, I think there's a bit more to this. You see, the human mascots clearly show that they hate the idea of new mascots, mainly because they could lose their job. It shows their resentment for them before they're even introduced to them, and could be a motive for sabotaging the new organic mascot's performance. Also, Rambly said something interesting here. He mentions how they didn't even talk about an inventory identification number. If you don't know, when a company receives a product, they give it this type of number in order to identify when a product has been bought in or transferred between areas. It's so that companies can keep track of their inventory and can locate it with ease. But that's not the case with the Rambly mask. The employees just didn't bother to log it. So I came up with the theory that one of the disgruntled employees decided to sabotage the mascots and did so while wearing the Rambly mask, and so they can't be identified. But then I thought about another mascot, Salem. They are a character that have been introduced and thrown around here and there in the game, but we don't see much of them. However, there are hints that they do have a mascot of their own in-game. This splat of blood we see on the floor could be related to them getting injured. We know that they play the villain when it comes down to Rambly's friends. Could they have taken on a similar role if they were brought to life as a mascot? And we already know that they dislike Rambly, so what if it was them wearing the mask trying to frame Rambly in front of his friends? Also, near the end of the game, there's a room that we're not allowed to go into. This room was only for royal wranglers, and Rambly makes it quite clear that he doesn't want us to go in. Even after all this time, he doesn't want us to know what's back there. It's suspicious. Now, a wrangler can mean many different things, but the definition I want to focus on here is an individual involved in the process of taming, controlling, and handling various animals. With this definition, I think the wranglers were people training the mascots, which means behind these doors was where they were being kept. And there's two possible reasons why Rambly doesn't want us to go back there. One, he doesn't want to scare us with the truth, what was really happening to the mascots, or two, there's something still back there that we aren't ready to deal with. But that's all I've got for now. I really enjoyed this game and I was so excited when it finally came out. And I'm looking forward to playing Chapter 2 when it releases. If you guys like this video, please do subscribe. And if you have any other theories of your own, feel free to comment them. Do you think I've gone too far here, or is my theory still plausible? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! That video should be good to go. Oh wait, no, I forgot to thank the members. Hey, what was that thing that the editor sent me? Oh, perfect. Okay. Hey, Datchia, could you make a thank you note to my members just so they think it's personal?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks. Awesome.
Thank you to all the members for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, even though some people don't. Enjoy all of your support for this channel. You guys amaze me so much, and I just want to say I love all of you guys. Thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and I appreciate every single one of you. Bye!